Hi, this is guitarist Denis Taaffe, and I'm in my home studio. And I just wanted to show you something that I've been working on and has been a constant problem, really, since about 1999. Right? Yeah. So that makes it about 25 years, 26 years, something like that. And this has been an ongoing, constant problem. And that is managing my albums. Right? And you'd think, well, that's pretty simple. But actually, that's not quite the case. To date, since 1999, when I put out my first album, okay, that was in 1999, Modern Rock Guitar Volume 1. And then over the years until now, I'm up to Modern Rock Guitar Volume 354. Okay, so that's 354 albums that I've done over the years. Okay, and as a result, over the years, storing that music, right, storing those albums, Now, granted, they've all been released, so they're somewhere, either could be on Amazon, KKBox, Spotify, Apple iTunes, and so on. So they're out there, right? But for me, one thing I always wanted was a master file. These are WAV files, so lossless audio, right? And I wanted, a folder that had album 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'd open it up and there's the music for the album, so that it would never be lost. And we think, well, that's pretty simple, just put it on a hard drive. But here's the deal. That takes a lot of space. Okay? And hard drives at the time weren't all that big, and you had to spend a ton of money, to get a big hard drive. And as a result, over the years, basically I had albums on hard drives, a series of hard drives. Like here's an 80 gig, here's a, what is this, 720 gig. Here's an 800. Here's an 80 gig, so that's an old one. And these particular drives are IDE drives, right, which have the pins on it. And so over the years, I've accumulated a bunch of these. Like here's, four. And they all have albums on them, right, over the years. Then SATA drives came in, kind of like this, no pins, right, different format, same concept though. Like here's a 250 gig. So over the years I've had albums kind of strewn around all over the place. And I wanted to show you a few things. And so I'd have them, on multiple drives. And that's how I would store the albums. And unfortunately, these don't last forever. They go bad. And this has happened to me quite a few times, where I've almost lost albums as a result. Now I remember, I don't know, I think it was around maybe about 2000, in middle 2000s, I had a catastrophic hard drive failure, right? And I actually had to send the drive off to have it recovered, the data recovered, because all my albums were on that drive at the time. And that was an expensive proposition. And as a result, I got it backed up, got my albums back on 2 different drives. And this is one of them right here, right? It's a external drive, old IDE, USB drive, right? And there was another one like this, so I got 2 of them just to be sure. And unfortunately, has a proprietary power supply, and that died. And as a result, I had to take this apart, not this particular one, but the other one. I took apart and had to pull the hard drive out to access the data, right? Now as drives got a little bigger, right, then I started getting external drives, kind of like this, right? It's a Western Digital, I think it's a 500 gigabyte, and USB and FireWire. Okay. And then, as the drives, thumb drives, got bigger, right, I thought, I can store some on these thumb drives, right? So this one's like a 30 gig, has a couple albums on there, and so on. So that's a heck of a way of managing my albums, far from the, here they are, one folder, and then, inside are all 354 albums, each in a folder, okay, and, as you can imagine, that takes up a lot of space, right? So then, came across this is actually a Western Digital, right? And it's 1 terabyte. And I was like, wow! So I could do it on this one, right? In other words, store all the albums from all these drives. So here we've got different interfaces, different power requirements, That's the problem with these external drives. If you lose the power supply, then you've got to find another one, and that, so on and so on. Which is kind of a shame. And had I practiced what I preach, and that is putting a darn label on things, especially labels that don't come off, like this one is about to. So we have to redo that. And saying this power supply belongs to this external hard drive, or this pedal, this processor, so on. As a result, so what I did is when I started getting into the bigger drives, a terabyte, when they were reasonably priced, that's when I really wanted all 354 albums in one folder. So I went to piece them together and so on, and it was quite a job, really. And I'm still 4 albums short. I've got to find 4 more albums, older albums, and I have them somewhere. But I've got to go through all these drives to find it, right? Let alone the artwork, the covers, basically, and also the order of the tracks. So that's additional space, and it's all over these hard drives. Now, I had another catastrophe, and that was one of the SATA drives broke. Right? It didn't go bad, it broke. The SATA connector broke. Right? And I needed the albums off that drive. Right? And I mean, it was quite a big drive. I think it was maybe 500 gigabytes or something. Yeah, 500 gigabytes. Well, I went around looking around for, data retrieval, recovery services, and it was quite an expensive proposition, way over $1 a gigabyte, So, I mean, I was looking at paying, anywhere from $500 to $1,000. And here was the problem. This SATA drive right here, okay, you'll see it's got these pins right here. And the data, or the power part was okay, but the data connector, one of the pins broke. And this is on the SATA drive. It also had a black plastic covering that allows you to connect the connector correctly. Okay, and that broke off. I couldn't believe it. I go, what is this? Right? So I thought, oh man, I'm not going to spend $500 to $1,000, to recover that drive. So, what I did is I purchased, it was very inexpensive, it was like $12, right, off of Amazon, USB 2.0 to SATA IDE cable kit, right here, okay? And basically, it would allow you to just connect a drive, either IDE or SATA, and connect it to the USB, right? In other words, it's kind of like an external drive enclosure without the enclosure, okay? And miraculously, it actually read the drive that was broken with a broken SATA connector, right? Except for one caveat. You had to hold the connector or else it would slip off and then you couldn't read the drive. So I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll go ahead and just hold it and just to get the data off of it. Right? Little did I know that because we were talking USB speed, it was going to be about 4 hours. There's no way I'm going to hold that for 4 hours correctly. Now I could do it a little at a time and that kind of thing. So instead, I thought there must be another solution. And I discovered this. About $30. And this is a docking station. Right? And you pop a drive in vertically. In fact, we'll take this one. Right? And it's got a slot right here, and so that's it. And then it has a USB connector that connects to your computer. Well, that solves the problem, because all the weight is coming down on the connector, which was the broken part. So I got all my drives off, or all my data off the drive with this docking station. Okay. And then I got kind of fed up. I was like, oh, this is crazy. Having all these different drives, IDE is kind of, outdated now. You can't even, I don't know if you can even buy an IDE drive. So, that, I got kind of fed up with all these different drives. So I was going to create my master file that had all 354 albums there. I started with my 1 terabyte external drive, Western Digital, right here. and started building the files, transferring from all these drives. So, and the prices on hard drives has changed so much that recently I got this, right? And it's got just a USB cable. And I don't know if these are proprietary, but it provides power and USB to this little box here, right? And this isn't a solid state drive. For me, those are still too expensive. So it's a little, but it's 2 terabytes, right? So double what this little 1 terabyte drive is. And this will hold all of my albums easily, right? I thought, man, this is really fantastic. It was about $59, right? Which is so inexpensive in comparison to what it was, 10 years ago or what have you. In fact, it was unheard of to even get a terabyte. I mean, unless you spent thousands of dollars. So, I, transferred, and it's kind of a backup, because I already have an external drive, that has the album. So I have that folder of albums on several different drives and several computers, and in storage as well. So that if one does go down, and it will eventually at some point, who knows when, that I will have backups of all my albums and they won't be lost, because at one point it seemed like there were more of my albums out on Amazon and all these, Spotify and so on, where they had been released, than I had myself, So this little hard drive, 2 terabytes, for $59, and not only that, you get 1 year of data recovery. If it fails, they'll recover the files for you, which is a pretty good deal, I thought. Right? And the fact that then I don't have to worry about, I've got 4 albums on this hard drive, I've got 20 on this one, and I have it all consolidated into one folder. And so far I've transferred them over, building the master file, if you like, and pretty close. I have 4 albums that I still need to find out of the 354. So, and they're somewhere. Where, I'm not sure. So this docking station was about $30. Okay, and probably the best $30 I've ever spent. Because I was able to recover a lot of data, off that broken hard drive, and didn't have to send it in for data recovery, costing almost $1,000. And totally floored. These are really great. These little 2 terabyte Seagate external portable drives. And basically what you've got in there, I think, is a little laptop drive. And now they have, solid state drives, which are a lot faster and that kind of thing, and have no moving parts. So maybe once I get them, one of the master file with the 4 missing albums, and when I find those albums, I'll have a complete set, and then maybe store those on a solid state drive, And now I have that folder, I can save on different places and so on, so they won't be lost. So, yeah, I've got to find those 4 albums, or, see if I can find them online even, if they'll let you download your albums. I'm not sure if that's a possibility or not, I'm not too worried about it because I have them somewhere, because over the years I've made a bunch of backups, either on the USB flash drives, hard drives, and those kinds of things. It's quite a job, really, managing that many albums, especially, over the years. So that's one of the projects I've been doing. I wanted to share that with you. If you do have some original music and you want to hold on to it, definitely back it up, It seems kind of a mundane task, especially, for example, having an external drive you're not using after you back it up, But I tell you, when something goes down, it's really nice to have that available as a possibility, as far as albums go. Yeah. Okay. So remember, back up your music. It's well worth it, and and have it in several different places, even on different media. Whatever it is. I even have some albums I remember I backed up on the DVD drives, as data, and each one could hold maybe 4 albums at the time. Now I don't know, how many albums I'll end up with. I'm still creating albums. Right now it's 354 is my latest. I don't know. I just keep making albums. If I like the music I'm creating, and that kind of thing. Okay, that's it. Alright, so I'm very pleased now to have a master file, and these are so convenient. It's hard to believe. They're so small, and very nice. I keep the cable with it because, as I said, this one powers it and transfers the data. It's a USB cable, so it's not a conventional cable, and I don't know if it's proprietary or not. I have to look that up and see. But very, very convenient. And to think that it holds 2 terabytes, that's quite something. So, of course, pictures and so on. I have some live concert recordings, some videos. Man, all gathered over the years. All right. See you next time. Okay, bye.